Chapter 36 Supuspakandra. Then at that time Brother Ananda rose from his seat, removed his robe from one shoulder, and, kneeling on his right knee, with palms placed together, he bowed toward the Bhagavan and made this request. If the Bhagavan will give me an opportunity to seek answers to them, I have a few questions for the Bhagavan, the Tathagata, the Arhat, the perfectly enlightened Buddha. The Bhagavan addressed Brother Ananda, saying, "That is why, Ananda, I am seated upon this seat. Ask whatever question you wish to the Tathagata, the Arhat, the perfectly enlightened Buddha, and I shall gratify you with answers to each and every question you have asked." Brother Ananda then said to the Bhagavan, "Bhagavan, I have been given the opportunity. Sugata, I have been given the opportunity to receive answers to my questions." So Brother Ananda, having received the Bhagavan's permission, sat upon a seat before the Bhagavan and asked him, "Bhagavan, what is the cause and what are the factors whereby, when Bodhisattva Mahasattvas are practicing infinite Bodhisattva conduct, they do not regress from enlightenment even if their hands are cut off, their feet are cut off, their ears are cut off, their noses are cut off, their eyes are gouged out, their heads are cut off, their bodies are cut off, and their limbs are cut off, or they experience various other kinds of suffering? What is the cause and what are the factors for that?" The Bhagavan replied to Brother Ananda, "Ananda, in order to truly accomplish the highest complete enlightenment, I experienced every kind of suffering. You know and remember this, so what made you decide to ask the Tathagata this question?" Ananda, as an analogy, if there were a person who was on fire from his feet to the crown of his head, burning so that he was a single flame, and someone else were to come up to him and say, "Oh, you, sir, while you are still burning, should encounter, be provided with, delight in, enjoy, and indulge in the five sensory pleasures," what would he think? Would that person, while he was still burning, encounter, be provided with, delight in, enjoy, and indulge in the five sensory pleasures? "No, Bhagavan, he would not," replied Ananda. The Bhagavan continued, "Ananda, consider whether that person, while still burning, could encounter, be provided with, delight in, enjoy, and indulge in the five sensory pleasures. The Tathagata, while practicing bodhisattva conduct in the past, was not happy or joyful on seeing beings suffering and in poverty in the three lower existences. Ananda, when bodhisattva mahasattvas of the past were practicing bodhisattva conduct, they had perfect correct conduct, faultless correct conduct, pure correct conduct, unalloyed correct conduct, immaculate correct conduct, unwavering correct conduct, unshakable correct conduct, imperturbable correct conduct, resolute correct conduct, sincere correct conduct, trustworthy correct conduct, honest correct conduct that was faithful to the vows they had taken, and correct conduct that benefits beings. That is the kind of correct conduct they had. Ananda, the bodhisattva mahasattvas of the past, who were practicing infinite bodhisattva conduct, did not regress if their hands were cut off, did not regress if their feet were cut off, did not regress if their ears were cut off, did not regress if their noses were cut off, did not regress if their eyes were gouged out or their heads were cut off, did not regress if their body or limbs were severed. Even if they experienced various kinds of suffering, they quickly attained the highest complete enlightenment of perfect Buddhahood. Ananda, you should understand this through the following teaching. Ananda, in the past, countless, vast, immeasurable, inconceivable, innumerable, countless aeons ago, at that time and in those days, there appeared in the world the Bhagavan, the Tathagata, the Arhat, the perfectly enlightened Buddha, Ratnapadma Sandra Visuddha Buddhagataraja, who was perfect in wisdom and conduct, a Sugata, a knower of the world, an unsurpassable guide who tamed beings, a teacher of devas and humans, a Buddha and a Bhagavan. At that time and in those days, the lifespan of the Bhagavan, the Tathagata, the Arhat, the perfectly enlightened Buddha, Ratnapadma Kandra Visuddhabhayadagataraja, was 99 quintillion aeons. Each day, every day, he established 99,000 quintillion beings irreversibly in the Dharma. Having established them in the Dharma, he passed into Nirvana. He established countless innumerable beings in the state of arhathood without outflows, and having done so, passed into nirvana. He established countless innumerable beings in irreversible progress toward the highest complete enlightenment, and then he passed into nirvana. Ananda, at that time, after the Bhagavan, the Tathagata, the Arhat, the perfectly enlightened Buddha, Ratna Padma Kandra Visuddha Buyadagaraja, had passed into nirvana during the last 500 years when the supreme dharma was vanishing. At the time when the supreme dharma was being destroyed, there was, Ananda, a king named Suradatta. King Suradatta had 84,000 women in his harem. He had 1,000 sons and 500 daughters. At that time and in those days, King Suradatta had a capital city named Ratnavati, which was vast and immense and had 4 gateways. It was adorned and beautified by balconies, porticos, entranceway arches, windows, upper pavilions, towers, and gardens. It was beautiful and appeared like the abode of a deity. It was the residence of countless, innumerable beings. Ananda, at that time and in those days, many people detested sutras like this. Many people rejected them. Many people were hostile to them. Many people dismissed them. It was a time of great terrors. It was a time of calamities, of excessive rains, and of droughts. It was a time of many snakes. It was a time of disasters caused by lightning. It was a time of famines. It was a time of false views. It was a time of wrong views. It was a time of seeking out the mantras of the Tirthakas. It was the time when the enlightenment of Buddhahood was vanishing. 7,000 bodhisattvas were expelled from the villages, the towns, the market towns, the regions, the capital, and the kingdom. They, along with the Dharmabhanaka Supaspakandra, resorted to the forest called Samantabhadra and dwelt there. Supaspakandra taught those bhikshus there the Dharma teaching of retention. Ananda, in that forest a variety of flowers, blossoms, vines, and fruits were always displayed, and the forest was filled with a variety of trees that were like wish-fulfilling trees. The ground was covered with the adornment of many different forms and colors of seeds and seedlings, beautified by a variety of rocks and stones and stainless water, and adorned by beautiful, vast, high, golden mountains. Siddhas, Vidyadharas, Gandharvas, Yakshas, Kimpurusas, sages, and Kinnaras dwelt there. It was inhabited by flocks of birds of various colors and shapes. Many Buddhas had dwelt there. It was like a delightful garden. It was completely good. It was in that excellent forest called Samantabhadra, perfect for practice, that those bodhisattvas dedicated to practice dwelt. Ananda, the Dharmabhanaka Supaspakandra, went to stay alone in a secluded place. With his pure divine sight, which transcended that of humans, he saw that many trillions of bodhisattvas who had developed roots of goodness in various Buddha realms had been reborn in this world. If they were to hear this Dharma teaching of retention, they would proceed irreversibly to the highest complete enlightenment. However, if they did not hear this Dharma teaching of retention, they would regress from the highest complete enlightenment. Then the Dharmabhanaka Supaspakandra mindfully and knowingly arose from that samadhi and went to the great assembly of bodhisattvas. When he had reached it, he announced to that great assembly of bodhisattvas, "Noble sons, I am going to the villages, the towns, the market towns, the kingdoms, the regions, and the capital, where I will teach the Dharma to beings." The great assembly of bodhisattvas said to the Dharmabhanaka Supaspakandra, "We do not wish you to go from this forest to the villages, the towns, the market towns, the kingdom, the regions, and the capital." Why? Because the time has come when there are many bhikshus and bhikshunis, upasakas and upasikas, who are extremely arrogant and have rejected the good Dharma. Brother, it will not be good if they kill you. Brother, you are very handsome, attractive, and good-looking, in the flush of youth, a young adult with a complexion that is like excellent polished gold. On your forehead there is the adornment of an urna hair that is like a conch, the moon, or a jasmine flower. Your hair and usnia are blue-black, and the locks of your hair curl. Therefore the princes, the king's ministers, and others will be envious, hostile, and aggressive, and if they kill you, that would not be good. Then the Dharmabhanaka Supaspakandra said to the great assembly of bodhisattvas, "If I protect myself, I cannot protect the teaching of the past, future, and present Buddha Bhagavans." Thereupon he recited these verses. I cannot protect this teaching while maintaining the concept of a self. In these dreadful later times, there is the great presentation of the Sugata's teaching of enlightenment. The one who completely abandons the concept of self and the doctrine of an individual that these beings follow, the one who abandons form, sound, smell, taste, and touch, is one who protects the teaching. Compared to someone who, with a pure mind, has honored for millions of aeons, as numerous as the Ganges sands, quintillions of Buddhas with food, drink, parasols, flags, and rows of lights. Another who practices a single teaching day and night, when the good Dharma is being destroyed, when the Sugata's teaching is coming to an end, will have merits that are far greater than the first. Someone who cultivates indifference while the good Dharma of the leader of beings is being destroyed is not showing respect for the Jina and is not honoring the guides. You should remain happy and preserve your own welfare. Always be kind and take care of those who are to be guided. Sincerely maintain unalloyed, pure, pristine, stainless conduct. Those who keep their conduct stainless are praised by the Buddhas. Those who have honored the Buddhas in the past are protectors who lead all beings to enlightenment. Those who keep the stainless conduct that has been praised by the past Buddhas become those who save many beings from the hells and from bad karma. Give the precious gift of the Supreme Dharma and always maintain patience. Remain in solitude, be skilled in Samadhi, meditate and be gentle. Never engage in quarrels and maintain supreme, peaceful conduct. I am going to the capital, to the city, in order to protect beings. When that sage, the supreme sublime being who had great realization, was leaving, some held him by his feet, weeping with compassion and shedding tears. Wise one with great realization, do not leave. Look at how beautiful are these charming forest trees, with their sweet and fragrant aromas. Protect yourself and do not leave. The guides of the past who had the 10 strengths, who had pacified senses and kindness, went to forests, cliffs, and mountain summits, and there reached the highest enlightenment. They practiced the highest conduct, enlightenment's cause. They possessed supreme merit and wisdom. Follow their example and remain in the forest. You who have perfect discipline, do not leave. Your body is beautiful and adorned by the signs. Your hair is blue-black in color. You shine with the color of gold, and you illuminate the earth. An urna hair is between your eyebrows, as beautiful and bright as a conch. The king and his followers will thus become envious and destroy your body. Then the Dharma Banaka Suspus Pakandra recited the following verses to that great assembly of bodhisattvas. The Shugatas who lived in the past were omniscient and without outflows. They all benefited the world and reached supreme enlightenment within the 3 existences. They practiced the highest conduct, enlightenment's cause. They possess supreme merit and wisdom. Follow their example, bodhisattvas, in order to protect millions of beings. They all circumambulated the wise sage, and they bowed down to his feet. Overwhelmed with compassion, they cried out, distressed, unhappy, wailing, and collapsing. Some lost consciousness and fainted, falling to the ground like sal trees that had been cut down. But the sage, determined to benefit beings through his accumulation of merit, did not turn back. The sage took up his robes and bowl and was prepared like the maned lion. He remained in the nature of the Dharma and was unaffected by good or bad qualities. If in this world I remain in this forest, beings will fall into lower realms which would not be good. Therefore, in order to protect beings, I am going to the city and the supreme palace. So the Dharmabhinaka Supas Pakandra went to the villages, the towns, the market towns, the kingdom, the regions, and the capital, where he taught the Dharma to beings. In the morning, as he was going there, he established 999 million beings in irreversible progress toward the highest enlightenment, and that was before he had reached the capital city of Ratnavati. When he had reached the capital city of Ratnavati and was at the side of the capital city of Ratnavati, he sat at the feet of a wavy leaf fig tree and a sal tree. When that night had passed, he went into the capital city of Ratnavati. After entering inside, he established 360 million beings irreversibly in the Dharma. However, he had not had his meal, and therefore, fasting that day, he emerged from the capital city of Ratnavati and went to the stupa that contained the fingernail of the Bhagavan. There he stood all day and night. When that night was over, on the second morning, he went back into the capital city of Ratnavati. After entering inside, he established 230 million beings irreversibly in the Dharma. However, he had not had his meal, and therefore, fasting for a second day, he emerged from the capital city of Ratnavati and went to the stupa that contained the fingernail of the Bhagavan. There he stood all day and night. When that night was over, on the third morning, he went back into the capital city of Ratnavati. After entering inside, he established 999 million beings irreversibly in the Dharma. However, he had not had his meal, and therefore, fasting for a third day, he emerged from the capital city of Ratnavati and went to the stupa that contained the fingernail of the Bhagavan. There he stood all day and night. When that night was over, on the fourth morning, he went back into the capital city of Ratnavati. After entering inside, he established 9,900,000 beings in irreversible progress toward the highest enlightenment. However, he had not had his meal, and therefore, fasting for a fourth day, he emerged from the capital city of Ratnavati and went to the stupa that contained the fingernail of the Bhagavan. There he stood all day and night. When that night was over, on the fifth morning, he went back into the capital city of Ratnavati and entered the harem. After entering inside, he established 80,000 women in irreversible progress toward the highest enlightenment. He established countless, innumerable townspeople in irreversible progress toward the highest enlightenment. However, he had not had his meal, and therefore, fasting for a fifth day, he emerged from the capital city of Ratnavati and went to the stupa that contained the fingernail of the Bhagavan. There he stood all day and night. When that night was over, on the sixth morning, he went back to the capital city of Ratnavati. He established 1,000 sons of the king in irreversible progress toward the highest enlightenment. However, he had not had his meal, and therefore, fasting for a sixth day, he emerged from the capital city of Ratnavati and went to the stupa that contained the fingernail of the Bhagavan. There he stood all day and night. When that night was over, on the seventh morning, he went back into the capital city of Ratnavati. After entering, he saw King Suradatta riding toward the park in a chariot made of gold with side panels of silver, shafts of Uragasara sandalwood, wheels of beryl, and adorned by a parasol, banners, and flags. The chariot's shafts were bound with silk and tied with cotton ribbons. 800 maidens were pulling the chariot with precious cords. They were beautiful, pretty, and attractive, with perfect, lovely complexions. They brought delight and satisfaction to the foolish, but not to the wise. 84,000 Kshatriyas, who were like great sal trees, followed in the rear. 84,000 Brahmins, who were like great sal trees, followed in their rear. 84,000 prominent citizens, they too, like sal trees, followed in their rear. The king's 500 daughters were being carried in precious palanquins in front, and when they saw the bhikshu, they were instantly established in irreversible progress toward the highest enlightenment. When the retinue of 6,800,000 queens too saw the bhikshu, they were also instantly established in irreversible progress toward the highest enlightenment. That whole great gathering of people took off their jewels and rings, took off their shoes, removed their robes from one shoulder, and, kneeling on their right knees, with palms placed together, bowed toward the bhikshu. Then the princess too, inspired by their previous fruits of goodness, alighted from their palanquins, took off their jewels and rings, took off their shoes, removed their robes from one shoulder, and, kneeling on their right knees, with palms placed together, recited these verses to the bhikshu. The arrival of this bhikshu has been like the sun, illuminating everywhere and inspiring the people. The faults of desire have gone. Ignorance has also been cleared away, and the faults of anger and envy have also instantly departed. The sons of King Suradatta, his retinue, and so on, none of these followers are looking at the king. The beauty of this bhikshu, being honored by the princes, is like the full moon encircled by the stars. The beauty of this bhikshu is like a painting in gold created by an expert artist and like the blossoming king of the sal trees. The beauty of this bhikshu's arrival is like powerful Sakra, lord of devas, the lord with 1,000 eyes, the destroyer of strongholds, and the lord of 33 devas on the summit of Sumeru. The beauty of this bhikshu's arrival is like Brahma residing in Brahma's world, like the Deva Lord Sunamrita, and like the Deva Suyama in the Desire Realm. The beauty of this bhikshu's arrival is like the sun shining in the sky, dispelling darkness with 1,000 light rays, illuminating completely every direction. He is beautiful with the physical signs of endless aeons of vast generosity, the constant maintenance of unsullied conduct, and unequal patience within all worlds. This bhikshu has appeared in the world, having developed the diligence praised by the noble beings, having competently practiced the 4 dhyanas, and having developed wisdom and destroyed the net of the kleshas. The unequaled teaching of the Buddhas, which is dedicated to beings, the supreme Dharma, has been taught by the heroes of the past. The same will occur in future times and in the present. They are the sons who obtain the power of a Dharma king. Bhikshu, may you never be impermanent. May your body in this way shine throughout the world, with your great majesty and beautiful voice. Even the majesty of the king does not shine so brightly. Just as you have realized the Dharma and practiced the Buddha's instructions in the world, may we abandon the condition of womanhood and all become bhikshus like you. They placed their fingers together in homage, recited these verses, and cast toward him clothing, gold chains, and strings of jewels, and their necklaces and earrings. Just as the Chakravartin kings, who had great power, surveyed the entire earth, traveled through the 4 continents, and perceived all as being their children, likewise he does not have stronger affection for the Kshatriyas, head merchants and Brahmins, or heads of households, local governors, and relations, but instead has love for everyone equally. It is the same for this kind of bhikshu, who is trained and has the power of retention, and who elucidates the aspects of enlightenment, the strengths, the powers, and the Eightfold Path. He is majestic and illuminating, like the moon at night, shining in the midst of stars, or the disk of the rising sun. He pays homage to all the kind Buddhas who have the 10 strengths and pacified senses. If someone were to recite their praises, they could not finish even in 100 aeons. One could not conclude describing their qualities even after many thousands of millions of eons. One could not even conclude the praises of just one body hair of the most excellent in the world. The omniscient Buddhas have turned the Dharma wheel and taught the unequaled level of wisdom. They have taught the detailed, stainless Dharma that is not to be found anywhere else. The renunciants, Brahmins, Davas, and Nagas, the Asuras, Maras, Brahma, Kaika Devas, and so on, are not able to describe the ocean of qualities that the omniscient Buddhas have. We praise the unequaled Jina, the king of healing, and the bhikshu, who is his heart son. The young daughters of the king joyfully recited those verses, and at that time they cast gold and gold dust, and spread out clothing and top-notch jewels and necklaces worth 100 million. They presented these to the bhikshu and were fully established on the path to enlightenment. Then King Suradatta thought, "Alas, my harem has gone astray, and so has the populace. These people have cast off their jewels and rings, taken off their shoes, bared one shoulder, knelt on their right knees, and with palms placed together they have paid homage to that bhikshu." King Suradatta was not as handsome and not as attractive as that good-looking bhikshu. Fearing for his royal status, he became furious. When he saw the perfection of the bhikshu's body, he became extremely enraged. As the bhikshu had been walking upon the king's road, some dust had blown into one of his eyes. The king thought, "This bhikshu is looking at my queens with lust in his mind, and he is winking at them. Now who will slay this bhikshu?" King Suradatta summoned his 1,000 sons who were following behind. and commanded them, "Princes, you must slay this bhikshu." But the princes refused to obey King Suradatta, and he thought, "Because of this bhikshu, even my own sons refuse to obey me. I will be left alone and friendless, so who will slay this bhikshu?" King Suradatta had an executioner named Nandika, who was cruel, merciless, and ferocious, and he was not far from King Suradatta upon the king's road. When King Suradatta saw him, he rejoiced and was happy, joyful, hopeful, and comforted, thinking, "Nandika will slay this bhikshu." Then the executioner Nandika approached King Suradatta. King Suradatta inquired of Nandika, "If you wish to greatly please me, are you able to slay this bhikshu?" Nandika answered, "Your Majesty, I am very able. I will fulfill your command, and I will slay this bhikshu." The king said, "Therefore, Nandika, know the time has come. Take a sharp sword and cut off the bhikshu's hands and feet, and cut off his ears and nose, and because he has looked upon my harem with desire, gouge out his eyes." So Nandika the executioner thereupon took a sharp sword and severed the bhikshu's hands and feet, cut off his ears and nose, and gouged out both his eyes. From the places where the bhikshu's head, ears, feet, hands, and eyes had been cut, many quintillions of light rays shone forth, and many streams of milk that circled the 10 directions and then returned into the bhikshu's body. Srivasa's Swastika's wheels, and so on, also emerged from and re-entered his severed body, and the 32 signs of a great being became visible. After the king had proceeded on from the crowd of people, that crowd of people came and saw that the bhikshu had been cut and chopped up on the road. They were distressed, unhappy, and shocked. Weeping, crying out, and wailing, they went back into the capital city of Ratnavati. King Suradatta spent 7 days in the park, but he was not happy, did not take part in amusements, and did not go for walks. After 7 days had passed, he left the park and went into the capital city of Ratnavati. He saw the bhikshu's body which had been left on the king's road, and although 7 days had passed since he had died, the color of his body was unchanged. He thought, "The color of this bhikshu's body has not changed, which means that without any doubt this bhikshu was irreversibly progressing to the highest complete Buddhahood. I have accumulated the bad karma that will cause me to be reborn in a great hell. I will soon fall into a great hell." In the sky above him 80,000 devas proclaimed in one voice, "It is just as you have said, great king. This bhikshu was irreversibly progressing to the highest complete enlightenment." When King Suradatta heard the words of the devas in the sky, he became frightened, paralyzed with fear, with the hairs on his body standing on end, and was filled with remorse. In suffering, distressed, and filled with remorse, he wailed and recited these verses: "Forsaking the kingdom and the royal capital, jewels, gems, pearls, gold, and wealth, I myself took up a weapon and myself killed. Foolishly I have created bad karma." The bhikshu Supuspakandra was here, armored in the 32 characteristics. Shining, he entered the royal capital like the full moon, the king of stars. Agitated by the evil of sensory pleasures, I set forth in the pleasurable company of my wives, riding in chariots accompanied by a retinue of satriyas, when this fragrant, beautiful-eyed bhikshu arrived. When my company of wives saw him, they were overjoyed. With adoration they cast off their gold necklaces. They all placed their 10 fingers together in homage, and praised that monk by singing verses. They were riding in chariots, accompanied by kshatriyas, but they stopped singing to their king, when this powerful, supreme son of the Sugata, this fragrant, beautiful-eyed bhikshu arrived. When this bhikshu came into the capital, my mind became extremely wicked. Ignorant, I was furious and jealous on seeing the joy of that great gathering of my wives. He illuminated completely the 4 directions, like the beautiful moon freed from an eclipse. My assembly of wives was overjoyed and cried out when they saw the bhikshu come into the capital. At that moment I spoke with wrathful words, saying to my 1,000 sons, "Chop to pieces that bhikshu, who is my dreadful worst enemy." All the princes, whose conduct was gentle, wished to benefit themselves, and bowed down to the bhikshu. They bowed down and said, "Majesty, that command should not be obeyed," and I at that time became overcome by sadness. When I saw this bhikshu who had perfect conduct and who had kindness like that of a father, with an evil intention I had the opportunity to kill him, and in the future I will burn in the Avicii hell. Nandika, who was upon the king's road, with extremely cruel actions makes people suffer. He was someone who would carry out my command, and he cut up the bhikshu like cutting up a garland of flowers. In the pleasant supreme forest Samantabhadra, filled with birds and the aroma of flowers, the vast community of bhikshus are like only sons who have lost their mothers. Arise, bhikshu who dwelt in that forest. You came to the king's capital to accomplish vast benefit for beings. Weeping, they long for the greatly compassionate bhikshu. I have had the road swept and covered with cloth. Banners of flowers have been arranged on the right, and other beautiful images on the left. Arise, bhikshu, and teach the supreme Dharma. You have long been absent from the king's capital. Weeping, they long for the greatly compassionate bhikshu. May there be no obstacle to our life in this time of the destruction of the supreme Jina's teaching. Just as some beings who have great power, ever renowned throughout the 10 directions, and outshining all in these 3 existences, leap down from a great height onto the earth, in the same way this bhikshu has fallen to the earth, with a body beautified by the supreme signs. With an evil intention I have reduced to pieces Supuspakandra, who is faultless and blameless. All the bhikshus will be stricken by suffering, will be dismayed and greatly grief-stricken, as soon as they see this Dharma Banaka, Supuspakandra, slain and fallen to the ground. Supuspakandra, who is like the king of mountains, adorned by the 32 signs, has in an instant been broken into pieces, like a flower garland held by a woman. I have created the worst bad karma. I shall helplessly go to Avicii, to Yama's realm. Having reduced the bhikshu to pieces, I am at the furthest distance from Buddhahood. My sons will not save me, nor my family, nor my ministers, nor the slaves at my feet. They will not save me from going to hell, for I myself have created the worst bad karma. I go for refuge to the Buddhas of the past, of the future, and those now present in the 10 directions. Those leaders who have the 10 strengths, have no kleshas, and have bodies as invincible as Vajras. The Devas there wailed pitifully when they saw the bhikshu in pieces. They went to inform the Sangha that Supuspakandra had been slain in the capital. The wise and learned Dharmabhanaka, powerful and renowned in all directions, the Bodhisattva who was established in retention, Supuspakandra, has been slain in the capital. He who for countless aeons practiced generosity, maintained faultless, unwavering conduct, and had unequaled patience within all worlds, Supuspakandra, has been slain in the capital. He who for countless aeons was always diligent, confidently meditated on the 4 dhyanas, and had the wisdom that eliminated the kleshas, Supuspakandra, has been slain in the capital. He who gave up all attachment to his body, who had no regard for his own life, and departed from Samantabhadra forest, Supuspakandra, has been slain in the capital. Having heard the pitiful wailing of the Devas, all the bhikshus experienced great suffering. They all went to the city in order to see the slain, innocent Supuspakandra. Those compassionate ones came to the capital, and when they saw the bhikshu cut into pieces, they all wailed terribly in distress, and they fainted and fell to the ground. The Sangha of bhikshus asked the king, "Why did you commit this offense against the bhikshu, who maintained correct conduct without a fault, and could remember countless previous lives? He had attained the power of wisdom and retention. He knew everything composite was empty. He taught the absence of attributes to beings, and had abandoned all concepts of aspiration. He had pleasant and delightful speech. He had pacified senses and was amiable. He had complete knowledge of others' previous lives, and he had transcended the world. He was the portrait of a supreme leader, with the wisdom of self-arisen Buddhahood. He saw with pure and unobscured eyes, and had extremely great love and compassion. Killing through evil desires and causing suffering destroys rebirth in the upper realms. People who are dedicated to their desires become deaf and devoid of wisdom. People who are dedicated to their desires become blind and murder their fathers and mothers. People who are dedicated to their desires slay those with correct conduct, and therefore people should forsake desires. The kings who are dedicated to their desires, those rulers of the world, throw away their prosperity and go to the dreadful, terrible hells that cause suffering and endless fear. This kind of bad karma is always created by the slaying of a wise bhikshu. Therefore, one who wishes for the peace of enlightenment should abandon every kind of bad action. A jina without dismay gives away the best forms, sounds, tastes, smells, tangibles, and phenomena. He knows the body is like an illusion and shape, as are the ears, eyes, nose, and tongue. He trains in unequal generosity, correct conduct, patience, and diligence. He is dedicated to dhyana, attains perfect wisdom, and accomplishes the benefit of beings. The entire world with devas and humans, together with love, look upon a jina. Thereby, with eyes that have been freed from blindness, they become enlightened, attaining the peace of Buddhahood. The jinas joyfully give away horses, elephants, litters, palanquins, couches, bulls, and carriages, wagons, villages, and regions. They give away towns and kingdoms, gold, silver, crystal, and coral. They give away wives, sons, daughters, and their own heads, and are established in enlightenment. They joyfully make unequaled offerings of flowers and incense, holding parasols, banners, divine flags, and musical instruments of various kinds. They know existence to be empty and do not rejoice in rebirth and existence. They have the 10 strength, are adorned by the signs, and they illuminate all 10 directions. The bodhisattvas established in retention have no attachment to the phenomena of the 3 realms. They have no attachment to the realm of desire, to the form realm, or to the formless realm. The bodhisattvas established in retention have no concept of self, no concept of being, no concept of the soul, and no concept of an individual, and always practice unsullied celibacy. The bodhisattvas established in retention have no concept of things and no concept of nothing, no concept of happiness and no concept of unhappiness, and no concept of number and no concept of numberlessness. They have no concept of existence and no concept of non-existence, no concept of woman and no concept of man, no concept of villages and no concept of towns, and no concept of regions and no concept of market towns. The bodhisattvas established in retention have no concept of desire and no concept of no desire, no concept of stupidity and no concept of no stupidity, and no concept of ignorance and no concept of no ignorance. The bodhisattvas established in retention have no concept of pride and no concept of no pride, no concept of ignorance and no concept of no ignorance, and no concept of view and no concept of no view. The bodhisattvas established in retention have no concept to the powers and the strengths, no attachment to the powers and the strengths, no attachment to the dhyanas and the aspects of enlightenment, and have abandoned all the evils in the 3 realms. They have no desire or passion, no anger or rage. They have no ignorance or dullness, and are always honest. When they see the Buddhas with their 10 strengths, they honor them, and they do not gain knowledge for the sake of rebirth in the higher realms. When they hear the unique Dharma from another, they never have any doubt in it. They know if there is deficiency or not in others' minds, like looking into a clear, pure bowl of sesame oil. If attachment develops, that friendliness is a great klesha. If anger develops, then that aggression brings evil, enmity, and fear. Completely rejecting both of those, the wise ones are established in enlightenment. They become here the great leaders of humans, endowed with the 10 strengths appearing in the world. They abandon the internal and the external, and remain in the nature of phenomena. They have correct conduct that is pure, without defect, unsullied, and faultless. Their conduct is never sullied, and it is never corrupted. The wise ones avoid attachment and anger, and attain the peace of enlightenment. After King Suradatta had heard from the Sangha what vast, extensive, and special qualities the Dharmabhinaku Supasukandra had, he was in suffering and unhappy, and thereupon he recited these lines of verse to that great assembly of bodhisattvas. The dense forest of Samantabhadra, filled with great trees and beautified by fruit, adorned by beautiful flowers that appear in all seasons and where various birds sing their songs, and adorned by tall, stately golden mountains, and by the tuneful song of kinnaras, by skillfully created pleasant music, and the constant dancing of adept maidens, That forest is like a Deva's park, with trees that have beautiful shining forms, with a carpet of various kinds of flowers, and with rivers adorned by blue and red lotuses. Sages constantly live in harmony within such a delightful forest. He departed from it wishing to benefit beings, and came to my city, which is a mass of sin. That Dharmabhinaka with excellent qualities, Supus Pakandra, came here to this city, and when he came I committed the evil action of having him slain, and because of his death I am going to fall down into hell. May the bodhisattvas who have the power of compassion, the heroes who act in this world to benefit beings, give their protection to me, who have done such evil things. I go to the bodhisattvas for refuge. Secondly, those who are Pratyekabuddhas and also Sravakas with miraculous powers, whose outflows have ceased and are in their last body, save me from the suffering of being reborn in the Avicii hell. Then, at that time, the Bhagavan said to Ananda, in that way, Ananda, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva has no attachment to life or body. Why is that? Because, Ananda, beings who have attachment to life and body create bad karma. On this topic it was said, beings who have attachment to this body which is constantly rotting, and to this life unstable and powerless, which is like a dream or an illusion, they fall under the power of ignorance and create extremely dreadful karma. Devoid of wisdom, following Mara, they are reborn in the terrible hells. Those humans who are indifferent to their bodies, which are like lumps of foam, and their lives, which are like water bubbles, will become supreme beings. Then the Bhagavan said to brother Ananda, Ananda, in that way, Bodhisattva Mahasattvas who wish for this samadhi and wish to attain quickly the highest complete enlightenment of perfect Buddhahood should train in this samadhi, and should have no regard for their bodies or lives. They should be as diligently dedicated as they would if their hair or clothes were on fire, and have great compassion for all beings. For example, they should give up living happily in solitude, solitary places and forests, and enter the villages, the towns, the market towns, the regions, the kingdom, the capital and district capitals, and there teach the Dharma to beings, so that beings can attain irreversible progress toward the enlightenment of the Sravaka, irreversible progress toward the enlightenment of the Pratyekabuddha, or irreversible progress toward the highest complete enlightenment. Thereupon the Bhagavan gave a detailed teaching on this episode from the past by chanting the following verses to brother Ananda. At that past time, when I was practicing bodhisattva conduct, I was King Saradatta. I left my capital city Ratnavati on my way to a place that was a park. While riding in the chariot, I saw a bhikshu who was perfectly handsome and attractive, wearing the armor of the 32 signs, and he illuminated all directions. He was renowned as Supus Pakandra and was compassionate, beneficial, and kind. He was beautiful with his splendor and majesty, and through his love for beings he had come to town. I could not be his equal in appearance, and a malevolent envy arose within me. I was attached to desires and clung to my kingdom, and thought he would deprive me of my kingdom. I had sons that numbered a full 1,000 who were following behind me riding in chariots, and who wore various kinds of diadems and jewelry, as if the devas who were lords of Triyastrimsa had come. I also had there 500 daughters who were very beautiful and wore bejeweled shoes, beautified by ribbons, diadems, and jewelry, who pulled my chariot with cords of gold. I had 80,000 wives, who were all alluring and very beautiful. From within their chariots they saw the bhikshu, whose body had the shining splendor of Mount Muru. When they saw him, they conceived of him as like a father, and they developed the aspiration to attain supreme enlightenment. Then they adopted the practice of celibacy, and they cast off their delightful jewelry. At that time there arose within me envy and intractable, pitiless malice and anger. Proud of my power, I said to my sons, slay that bhikshu who is before me. The princes, on hearing my words, became distressed and unhappy. They said, Father, do not speak such words. We will not slay such a bhikshu. Even if our bodies and limbs were to be cut up for as many aeons as there are sand grains in the Ganges, nevertheless, we would never slay this bhikshu, as we have developed the aspiration for enlightenment. When the king had heard the words of his sons, he furiously ordered his serving executioner, Quickly bring me this bhikshu slain, who is standing in front of my harem." Then the executioner named Nandika, cruel and malevolent, followed him. He took a sword oiled with sesame oil, and with it he cut the bhikshu into 8 pieces. When he cut into the body and limbs, instead of blood, 1,000 light rays were emitted, and where it was cut open inside the body were symbols such as srivastas and wheels. Having committed such a dreadful act, the king instantly departed for the park. Thinking of the bhikshu Puspakandra, he could not join in amusements or be happy. He very quickly and in a hasty manner departed from the park to return to his palace. His chariot on the way came to the place where the bhikshu lay in 8 pieces. There he heard the sound of wailing of many millions of devas in the sky. They cried, "King, you have created so much bad karma that when you die you will go to the miseries of the Avici hell." When the king had heard those words, he became distressed, sorrowful, and afraid. He thought, "I have created so much bad karma through my having Puspakandra killed." He was the son of the Buddhas, of the leaders of men, of the Tathagatas, who have infinite wisdom. He controlled his senses, was caring, had a peaceful mind, but because of my desires I had him slain. He possessed the Dharma of the Tathagatas. In the age of destruction he was a treasure of the Dharma. He was a lamp of wisdom for the entire world, but because of my desires I had him slain. He was a king of physicians for this entire world, and he was always healing beings. He gave them the shining elixir of Amrita, but because of my desires I had him slain. He explained to beings the Dharma that is profound, peaceful, and difficult to see. He was a teacher of the supreme essence of enlightenment, but because of my desires I had him slain. He possessed the Dharma treasure of the guides, and he was a lamp for a world in darkness. He possessed the retention of the king of sutras, but because of my desires I had him slain. He was free of the kleshas and possessed pure wisdom, and he constantly rested in a state of peace, perfect peace. I had him killed today because of my desires, which was extremely evil, and I will go to hell. The Buddhas of the past and of the future, and the Jinas, the supreme men of the present, who are endlessly praised, and have an ocean of qualities. With my hands together in homage, I go to them for refuge. When King Suradatta saw that the body of the slain Dharmabhanaka Puspakandra that lay on the ground had not altered in color, he was distressed, sorrowful, and remorseful. He became crazed and wailed loudly. He recited these mournful verses that praise the qualities of the Dharmabhanaka Puspakandra. The noble Sangha in Samantabhadra forest requested you in many different ways not to go to Ratnavati, the capital city, because there would be a danger to your life. You did not listen to that Sangha of bhikshus. Why, venerable one, did you come to the town? Whatever the reason might be that you came, you should accomplish it, O lamp for the world. The ground is adorned by a variety of divine plants. There is a dense multitude of shining, beautiful trees. It is protected by supreme siddhas and vijayadharas. It is frequented by devas, and the lords of birds sing there. You departed from the perfect, direct, delightful Samantabhadra forest, where the Buddhas always dwell. Gentle one, explain to me today the reason why you came here. When I have heard your words, I will fulfill your command. Son of the Buddha, arise and give me your instruction. Alas, what shall I do, God of gods? I am helpless and go to you for refuge. Alone like a lion, the king of animals, you left your pride, a supreme Sangha of bhikshus, and with compassion for endless beings, with no regard for your life, you came here. I was overcome with desire and envy, and had this hero cut into pieces. Now your entire Sangha of bhikshus has come to the capital in order to see you. That which I, terrified, request of you, it is a request that is worthy to be fulfilled. Puspakandra, I pray you free me from fear, and that you rise like the moon when it is full. Dharmabhanaka, who is liberated from anger, Lord of beings, bestow this favor on me. Today bestow this one favor on me. I pray that you arise, shining like the sun. I have committed an evil, sinful act. I have slain the supreme Dharmabhanaka. When I die, I will be reborn in a terrible hell, and I have no one who can save me from that. Shameful upon this sinful mind that creates calamity. Shame upon this kingship of pride and arrogance. I will have to go alone, leaving all behind, without taking any possessions with me. You have the pure Dharma, you have defeated desire and anger. You speak pleasant words, are self-controlled and compassionate. You do no wrong, and are the sole friend of beings. Supreme Puspakandra, why did I slay you? Ah, you who are wealthy in discipline, patience, and austerity. Ah, you who possess the qualities of handsome form and kindness. Ah, you who are honest, glorious, and trustworthy. Where have you gone, leaving us behind? Noble one, when your body and limbs were cut, milk flowed out and thousands of light rays shone forth. The entire world was astonished. My wondrous guide, I pray that you arise. Ah, Puspakandra, you are self-controlled and compassionate. Ah, come here, you mountain of love and compassion. Ah, you are a supreme teacher of this profound Dharma. Divine One, I pray that you be compassionate to me and arise. Ah, come here, you who have the face of a full moon. Ah, come here, you who were born upon the 10 bhumis. Ah, you are a hero who has the power over the 10 bhumis. You who have the power over life, where have you gone? Ah, come here and speak to me. Ah, you who are so diligent and compassionate, where have you gone? Ah, you have meditated for a long time on patience. You who have great love, arise and speak to me. Ah, God of gods, you who are worthy of offerings, Dharma Banaka, why do you continue to remain silent? Arise, wise one, come into my home and teach the Dharma to the city's women. Divine One, it is not possible to cut up your body. Even the Devas, Asuras, Yakshas, and Rakshasas are unable to destroy this body of yours. Wise One, do not perform this illusion today. Divine One, why do you continue with this illusion? This is not a beautiful bodhisattva illusion. Abandon all illusions and arise and teach the Dharma in the city of Ratnavati. Ah, come here, noble Puspakandra. Ah, come here, you who are without desire for the 3 realms. Ah, come here, guide who is like a father and mother, and close the door through which I will go to hell. You are the refuge for those beings reborn in the lower realms, and for beings who are falling into the great Avicii hell. Come here, protector Supuspakandra, and open the door through which I can go to the higher realms. Lord, for 7 days you did not eat. Arise and eat a meal in my home. Having eaten a meal, then in Ratnavati establish many beings in the Dharma. Ah, my Father who is wise in the supreme Dharma. Ah, you who have no enmity toward any being. Ah, come here before me and teach the Dharma. Ah, come here and quickly fulfill my prayers. Ah, the Sangha bhikshus do not have their Lord. Ah, they are blinded, distressed, and in sorrow. Ah, arise quickly, you who are the most precious being, and having arisen, bring relief to this Sangha of bhikshus. Ah, come here, you who are a light for the 3 realms. Ah, come and enter the Samantabhadra forest. Enter the supreme forest, Samantabhadra, and teach so as to benefit the bhikshus. Oh, you possess the Dharma and have marvelous qualities. You are as rare as a flower of the sacred fig tree. Oh, look upon the Sangha of bhikshus with your stainless eyes of wisdom and compassion. Oh, teach to the bhikshus the retention that is beyond words. Oh, Puspakandra, arise here today like the rising moon. Oh, son of the Jinas who has compassion for me, unsurpassable teacher, bring me relief. Oh, you who when struck by swords and sticks have the power of great patience and kindness. Oh, compassionate Supuspakandra, generous guide, I pray that you arise. Oh, arise and teach to me the retention that is difficult to see. Oh, you are the supreme lamp of wisdom that illuminates the entire world. Oh, you who are dedicated to the benefit of beings, you are the guide with the strength of compassion. Oh, arise, Puspakandra, the hero, who accomplishes the benefit of beings. Oh, arise and bring trillions of beings to the city of peace. Oh, you who have the wealth of correct conduct, you have understanding, the wealth of training, and are wise. Oh, you remain in the discipline of correct conduct and rejoice in the seedlings of the trees of Dharma. Oh, you wear the orange-dyed Dharma robes and are always satisfied by renunciation. Oh, arise, glorious Puspakandra, who has perfect discipline, generosity, and austerity. Oh, tamed one who tames untamed beings, who always has the state of being tamed. Oh, tamed one who follows those who are tamed, who is peaceful and who has pacified senses. Oh, you continually with the sound of the Dharma, awaken beings who are asleep, deeply asleep. Oh, you awaken millions of beings and establish them in the highest jhana. Oh, with the planks of generosity, you have made a ship and tied it with the ropes of diligence. Oh, you rescue the beings who, by craving, have fallen into the great ocean. Oh, arise, Supuspa, with the 10 strengths, you who are the wise pilot of the ship. Oh, sail that stable ship and come and rescue me too. Oh, you are the supreme doctor, practiced in discipline. You are the unsurpassable doctor, learned in healing. Oh, you have attained the perfection of liberation through wisdom, and you bestow the medicine that is the good Dharma. Oh, when you see beings who are sick, afflicted with all kinds of illnesses, oh, arise quickly and give them the medicine of the Dharma. Oh, king of medicine of wisdom unequaled, you have reached the perfection of superior wisdom. Oh, you completely cure all illnesses. With compassion you accomplish the benefit of beings. Oh, everyone in the realm of sick beings is afflicted by the illness of desire. Oh, you make all those beings happy, healthy, and reach nirvana. Oh, wise one who has a vast training in wisdom, beat loudly the drum of the Dharma. Oh, with your ocean of wisdom, cut through all the world's creepers of doubt. Oh, you who are excellently learned, stainless, a holder of the Dharma, a supreme human. Oh, be seated in the midst of your assembly, and, wise one, recite thousands of millions of stainless sutras. Puspakandra, you are adorned by the supreme primary signs. Your body has all the 80 excellent secondary signs complete. Come here, honest one who has crossed the ocean of existence. Arise, you who have escaped from the prison of existence. You have sacred, supreme wisdom and knowledge. Puspakandra, you have great compassion. Have love and compassion and arise. Puspakandra, I pray to you. Puspakandra, give your instruction. Do not forsake your Sangha of bhikshus. Come here and lead your Sangha. Arise and go to that forest. Puspakandra, you enjoy the 4 dhyanas. You have love equally for friends and enemies. Arise, you who maintain unequaled retention. Come here, arise, you who are a tree of pure wisdom. You are as unshakable as Meru. You for whom Buddhas and beings are equal. Puspakandra, who has perfect discipline. Arise and attain Buddhahood at the foot of the Bodhi tree. You have divine hearing and possess the supreme Dharma. You have divine vision and are wise and adept in wisdom. Arise, compassionate one, and look at me. Endlessly famous one, listen to my words. You help and benefit the entire world. Puspakandra, you delight in great generosity. Arise and quickly fulfill my prayer. Do not remain here in pieces. When the men and the women of this city saw you lying dead, their hearts were withered by sorrow. Look upon them with your compassionate eyes. Arise, Supuspa, so that you may fulfill the reason for cultivating the strength of love, wisdom, and method, and your vast rejoicing in compassion and equanimity. Devas, Nagas, and Asuras with great miraculous powers, Yakshas, Rakshasas, humans, and Kinnaras bring flowers and incense in their cupped hands. They have all come to delight in seeing you. Today I have understood the words of the sage. The desires of beings are harmful murderers. This fever of the mind is the cause of the lower realms. Therefore I shall forsake acting out of desire. I have committed the sin of slaying the bhikshu, which was extremely wicked and will destroy my happiness. I am going to the terrible Avicii hell, and I have no protector who can save me from that. I shall forsake the kingdom and practice celibacy. I shall make excellent offerings with incense, flowers, and perfumes, and I shall build a beautiful stupa. I give a command to all my sons, daughters, wives, prominent citizens, ministers, head merchants, heads of guilds, and many satriyas. Quickly make a bier with a casket of agarwood, sandalwood, cherrywood, and whatever is splendid, aromatic, and beautiful, for the cremation of this bhikshu. Having heard the king, all the townspeople brought the very best incense, fashioned a bier, and placed the bhikshu inside the casket, with agarwood, sandalwood, and magnolia, valerian, fenugreek, and begonia, with flowers and perfumed garlands, and with sesame oil he was cremated. The bhikshus collected a drona of his burned bones. The king created for them a stupa and said, I wish to make an offering to it. Holding flowers, garlands, and perfumes, the king had others hold parasols, flags, and banners, and play the music of 1,000 quintillion musical instruments. The king came to the stupa of the bhikshu during each of the 3 periods of every day. He confessed absolutely whatever bad actions, however small, he may have committed in this life or throughout the 3 times. For 950 billion years he repented all his misdeeds, and from then on perfectly maintained correct conduct that was unimpaired, pure, unsullied, and stainless. For 950 billion years he kept the Posada vows. Then when my body was destroyed, I fell into the terrible Avicii hell. I had committed cruel actions out of desire, and therefore I experienced many sufferings. I had displeased 950 million Buddhas. For 950 billion years I was blind throughout that time. For 62 quintillion aeons in the past my eyes were destroyed. For many thousand quintillions of aeons my eyes were gouged out. For many countless millions of aeons my head, ears, feet, and hands were cut off. For another quintillion aeons I was born into human lives in which I experienced suffering. Tormented for a long time by samsara's suffering. For a long time in samsara I experienced the suffering created by my bad actions. Therefore those who wish for the peace of enlightenment should commit no bad actions within the 3 realms. Although the Supreme King had confessed his bad action, he was not freed from the evil that he had done, because he had created such terrible karma. When he passed away he fell into the terrible Avicii hell. While I was practicing bodhisattva conduct for many aeons, my hands, feet, ears, and nose were cut off, and my eyes were forcibly gouged out while I was being hit with sticks and weapons. For the sake of enlightenment I gave away my body, head, and hands, my sons, wives, my eyes, and my flesh. I joyfully gave away my feet and my hands, but even that did not exhaust my previous bad karma. Ananda, that is how I practiced for endless aeons. I saw countless Buddhas endowed with glory. Those are the sufferings I experienced in the past while practicing this supreme bodhisattva conduct. The bodhisattva who maintains retention, remains loving, always unwavering and unshakable, makes offerings to the Buddhas, the purified gods of gods, and will never go to the lower realms. The one who wishes to become a Buddha, a lord of the Dharma, who is adorned by the 32 signs, should maintain unsullied, uninterrupted, correct conduct, and be established in the retention of the Dharma that has been taught. I was at that time King Suradatta. My sons were subsequently protectors of the Dharma. Padmatara was Supuspakandra, and Vasunandi was Samadhiraja with the 10 strengths. The Tathagata was the principal human, a hero for the 3 worlds, the sole friend of beings. He accomplished a vast benefit for beings. He passed into nirvana and was a guide, like a lamp. The host of women and the multitude of satriyas, the leading citizens, the generals, and the ministers, the heads of guilds, head merchants, and regional commanders, all gained the 10 strengths and freedom from the kleshas. Conclusion of the 36th chapter, Supuspakandra.